Florence says, I'm too curious about your father and why you were poor back then. Why was I poor? Hi guys, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. Welcome to an updated Q&A. I just figured, like, you know, at the year's ending, a lot has happened during the year. Maybe I can just like update you guys about a few things if you have the questions. I didn't think that any of you would have so many questions because we talk so much throughout the year. But I did get a lot of questions. And I'm gonna rush this video because I only have an hour and 15 minutes on my memory card left. It might not seem like it's a lot. It might seem like it's a lot, but it actually isn't, because this video won't be obviously over an hour, but the recording usually takes over an hour, and then I edited down to 45 to 50 minutes. So I did ask from the community, YouTube community, as well as Instagram. I'm going to start with my community because YouTube is my favorite platform. I'm going to start with newest first. It's easier. And most of you guys most of the questions are the same. You guys just want to know about my dating life, my love life, or whatever it is. And I mentioned before, guys, when I did say, Uguti, okay, I'm dating, but I did say, Uguti, that's as far as I'm willing to talk about it when it comes to dating. I'm not going to talk about this person. You're never going to see him on this platform. You might see someone on Facebook or Instagram. I've had both my serious relationships. I've actually posted them. My ex I was with for some time, for about 6 years. He's all over my Facebook. Milani's dad is also all over my Facebook. So yeah, I do post men that I'm in love with, but not on my YouTube. As I think I've mentioned, YouTube is a space for my children. YouTube is a space for even 10-20 years from now. If my kids want to see how their life was, then they can always come back here. I don't want it to be diluted with other things. I don't want them to see other people here. Hope that makes sense. That's why, you guys, someone said, will we ever see him? No, you'll never see him. Nobody, you'll never see nobody I'm dating on this channel. You might see them on Instagram or Facebook. But yeah, let's start. I feel like I've already started answering a few of the questions. Katu says, how do you deal with the backlash from social media? I don't know if I get backlash from social media, or maybe my skin has become that thick that I don't see it as backlash. I think though, I switch off now. Like, I say what I say and I leave. Like, even when it comes to people, I say what I say, and if you have something bad to say, we can talk about it, but I usually say what I say and I leave it. I have received some backlash before, but it doesn't bother me because there's this thing. I watched like a lot of reality shows, Love and Hip Hop to be exact. I heard this girl in Love and Hip Hop saying, you cannot burn me with tea that I spilled. And even though she was obviously talking about some bullshit fights that she had, but I took that in and I was just like, I own my story, you guys. I own my truth, and because I own my truth, you can't use it against me. Like some girl I had done a podcast with Promise Makunyana, and some girl was there saying something like, wow, I could never relate to you. I don't have 2 kids with different men. And I'm like, you're trying to take a jab at me about something that I own. Like, people say, yeah, but you got 2 baby daddies. I told you I've got 2 baby daddies. Yeah, but you're a single mom with deadbeats. I told you. So I think because I own my truth, you can never use anything against me that I told you. I own it, I told you. So maybe that's why for me, I don't see it as backlash, because whatever it is that people are saying about me on social media, they are saying things that I've told you guys. And then maybe they will add their own 2 cents about, oh yeah, you got 2 baby daddies and this is the reason why you are delusional. I don't care. That I don't care. I know my story. I own my story. And then you can't hurt me with something that I've already owned and something that I already deal with, live with, and have healed from. Hope that makes sense. Yasima says she feels like these questions are personal. She hates invading people's spaces. So you don't have to answer. Didn't you say that your dad, the one with your mom, is your stepdad? Unless I misunderstood, because I swear you once said he's not your biological dad. No, that's my dad, guys. I'm not sure. When would I have said he's not my biology? It's my dad. That's my dad. You mentioned on Promise podcast that you're in a relationship but also going on dates with other people. How does that work? Are you in an open relationship? Are you still trying to see if things are going to work out? I'm definitely going to answer this one because you're not the only one who's asked this. For the longest time, all my dating, every man I've ever been in a serious relationship with, I've been in I want to say 3 serious relationships, they've all started the same way. They've all started, we meet today, we fall in love, we move in together, we make babies. It's just, I'm like, oh my God. You know, it's always like rushed. Never really getting to know each other. Even though the relationships do last, they will last a year, 2 years. The longest one was 6 months. 6 years. But there's not really a lot of getting to know each other before committing to each other. So I mentioned on Promise's podcast that I'm going on dates, and I also mentioned to Promise, because I remember we were saying that she's also like me, like you find someone you want to settle with same time. So in my head I was just like, that hasn't really worked out for me well in the past, and I always rush into relationships. Then you find out that people are abusers, or people are married, or people are lying, and that wouldn't have happened if you had taken your time to get to know this person, get to know yourself with this person. So that's why right now, this is my first time dating since having 2 children. This is my first time dating outside my baby daddy. So I really, really, really want to take things slow. I want to get to know this person and whoever else that I'm dating. B, I think I've mentioned here before that marriage is not a goal for me, but I'm single until someone asks me to be in a committed relationship with them. So basically what I'm trying to say, no one has asked me to be in a committed relationship with them. So I will see other people. I will see how things go with other people. And I want to also just broaden, because I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I want to broaden. I want to date, man. It's my first time dating. Like as mentioned, I was single for almost 3 years after Milani's dad, and it's my first time dating. So I don't want to come back into the dating world and commit to the first person that, you know, takes a look at me. So I do have one person, obviously, that I would say that was my favorite, but I mean, I don't say no to dates. Like if someone wants to take me out for dinner, or someone wants to take me out for lunch, someone wants to take me out on a work date or whatever, I'm not going to say no to that, because no one has actually asked me to be their girlfriend. Hope that makes sense. So that's why. And I saw Zizi Moloko was trending the other day, because she said just before she met her husband, she was dating a lot, and then she chose her husband. And I've seen a lot of women saying that approach works, because also you hurt less in a way, because if this one doesn't answer the phone, I can always call this one. So obviously, but without TMI, I'm only intimate with one person, but I'm not going to stop going on dates until someone asks me to be in a committed relationship with them. Hopefully that makes sense. You also mentioned on Promise podcast that you were married to your ex of 6 years. Do you mind explaining to us how explaining to us how? Guys, I'm shooting this on a Friday. My English is just because you never told us that before, only that you guys were staying together. There's a lot of things I haven't told you guys before, and there's a lot of things that I prefer to not tell on my channel. This is just a part of my life that I just don't like talking about. I think I also did say on Promise's podcast, that's just a part of my life that I just don't want to talk about. And Promise said something like, yeah, but you know, it made you, like, it kind of like, it had a huge impact on who you are. Yes, it didn't make me a mother, but like, it did have a huge impact on who I am, but it's just a part of my life that I just prefer to not talk about. It will come up now and then, because, you know, life has a way of always, your past will always have a way of coming back. But unfortunately, this is just a part of my life that I prefer to not talk about, never speak about, unless I really, really have to. Miss Dinny says, I love your content. Your channel is the only channel my boyfriend would sit and watch with me. Well, hi Dinny and your boyfriend. Question is, please share the editing apps you use to edit your videos. I'm also on this journey. I used, in the beginning when I was still recording with my phone, I used to use iMovie. That's it. So I'd shoot with my phone and record and edit with iMovie. Then I'd get the music from YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio has free music. And then when I got monetized, I was just like, oh, let me pay for music. You know, then I got a subscription on Epidemic Sound for music. It's about $25. So it's about 300 and something rand per month. That's where I started getting my music from. Because for me, I was just like, I'm not going to invest in my YouTube. For me, it was a matter of, I'm not going to like put money into this YouTube when I'm not getting money out of it. So when I got monetized, I was just like, okay, what's 300 rand? What's 350, I think? And then now that I use my camera, I edit with CapCut on the laptop. Hopefully that, and all of these things are free, by the way. CapCut and iMovie are free. And good luck on your journey, Miss Dinny. Let us know on the comment section what your channel is about. Drop your link if you want to, so that I know that you guys, I know that my subscribers, about you guys, you will support other YouTubers, and I love it, especially upcoming small YouTubers. So Dinny, do drop your link. I know that you will get a couple of subscribers by the end of this video. Tato Mshwene, hi Amanda, do you think you've paved a clear picture of life regarding Alwande as she in her teenage years, and how are you willing to help her protect her mental health in the scary world? I don't know if I understand the first part of the question, if I've paved a clear picture of life regarding Alwande. I don't think that I'm here to pave a picture of life to anyone. I think that I'm here to nurture my kids and raise them, and then they'll figure life out for themselves. So I don't know if I don't know how you meant this question. And then, how are you willing to help protect her mental health in the scary world? I can't. And guys, unfortunately, the thing about parenting is that once you realize this, you are human. You are not God. You can't protect people from things, including your own children. You can't even protect yourself from a couple of things. All you can do is equip your children. So I've equipped her. I'm equipping her by therapy. And in this house, we have honest and open conversations. I teach her. I grew up in a typical black home where for authority, you don't question authority. So you don't question abantu abadala. As a result, you get into a workspace, then you get scared of questioning your boss. You get scared of questioning anyone who's in a position of power. And I've had to unlearn that. And for me in this house, I allow my children to question me. Alwanda is not on camera as much as Milani is, but you guys would have seen Milani. Milani questions me, and it goes the same as Alwanda. If I say this is how it's supposed to be done, and they don't feel like that's how they want to do it, I allow that. So what I'm trying to say is, all I can do is equip my children. I can't protect anyone from anything. Hell, I can't even protect myself, but we can equip them. And for her mental health in the scary world, I've put her in therapy. She's been in therapy for the past 2-3 years, and therapy is, you guys know, therapy is life. Career up, Alisa Maseko, career update. What happened from the last video, resigning without a job to eventually going back to corporate. So I resigned last year, you guys. You would know if you knew. I resigned with no plan B. I have worked a very, very nice job that I liked. But I had a bad manager, and I resigned with no plan B. And then I freelanced. And someone also asked me about how do I get freelance gigs and remote jobs. I'm going to answer all of this in one. I got a freelance job. It's one company. I was freelancing for one company. So I don't know if I make it seem as if I'm a freelancer for like 1,000. No, I have one company that asked me to be in their roster, asked me to be a full-time freelancer for them. And it just happens to be a remote. And also I'm very intentional about when I'm applying for jobs, it has to be remote. I do not want to go to the office. I can go to the office once a week, but I'm not an office person because I want to be a present mother. So what happened is, after I resigned, I was unemployed for a month, and then that month I was unemployed for actually 2 months. Those 2 months were October. I resigned in September, my last month of September. Then October, November, I was jobless. I was basically jobless. I was surviving off YouTube, and I was surviving off Vlogtober. Thank God I did Vlogtober last year, because I made at least like almost 30K, and that was enough for me to survive. And also I had savings, so at least I survived the 2 months. Then in December I started this freelancing job that I worked, so I was freelancing for it, and then I got a corporate job. Like it's just that. Then I started applying for corporate jobs, then I got this job. Hopefully I answer that. Oh yeah, so it's literally the next question. I've always wanted to know how you score remote jobs and campaigns. So Abongile, as mentioned, with the remote jobs, I'm very, 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 very intentional. When I go on LinkedIn, I'm only looking for a hybrid in a corner. I will look if it says hybrid, but I have to see when you say hybrid, is what? Is it once a week or twice a week? If it's 3 times a week, then I don't apply. So I'm very intentional about applying for jobs that are just remote, fully remote. My industry, I apply on LinkedIn. There's also Biz Community. And then with campaigns, I've said it before on this channel, I've just been lucky. I'm not even gonna make it seem as if I work hard to get these campaigns. I've been lucky. It's pure luck. Pure luck. campaign managers find me. My recent one, I've got a campaign with Ackermans. Promise, Mrs. Law, she's the one who hooked me up with that one. In the beginning, it was pure luck. Now it's a matter of, oh, have you seen Mandy? Now it's just recommendations. So I've never had to pitch to any brand to work with me. I don't want to sound like I'm that girl. I don't pitch to brands. But I've never had to pitch. I've never had to do all of that. They come to me. They come with very little money, but you know what? They come. Girls, I love you, girls. You are always here, always supporting, and you're always supporting everyone that I support and love. I just want to say that I love you. So Carl says, knowing what you know now, being where you are now, what is your biggest desire? Is it still the same or is it changed? My biggest desire, I think if we're talking materialistic things, it's just, I just want to buy a house. I want to buy a beautiful home for my children. I've created a home for them. So I know that it doesn't matter where we are as long as we are together. So I do like the fact that we have that. But my biggest desire materialistically is to create, is to buy a home for them. I want stability for my kids. I didn't have a lot of stability growing up, and that's just what I want for them. And then what is your definition of success in this time of your life? Still the same, a house with the stairs. Give me the stairs, guys. Give me the stairs. If you watch my previous vlog, I grew up in a very, very small house, and the first time I saw a mansion, I was at my grandmother's work. My grandmother was a domestic worker, and I saw a mansion and it has stairs, and I was just like, hey, excuse me, what? Houses like these exist outside TV? And since then, I think I was 9 years old, and since then I told myself that I will know that I'm successful when I have a house with stairs. Still the same. Success is a house with stairs. But on the real, success is just, I don't like to work. I don't think a lot of us do like to work. I don't like to work like a 9 to 5. I don't. So success for me is also would be working when I want to. But because I'm a single mom, I feel I will always work. I don't have an option to work when I want to. If anything, I have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to sustain my family, my kids, and the life that we live. So, but again, in my case, 2 to 3 jobs. It's my 9 to 5. YouTube is my second job. Campaigns are my third job. So at least the other 2 jobs is things that I do because I want to, but they do help. What is love to you now? Oof. At this point in my life, I know that I can provide myself. I've proven that I can provide myself with all the materialistic things that I need. But on the same breath, I do want someone to meet me halfway. Not even halfway. I do want someone. I look at some of my friends who are married or in relationships, and I what is this thing? Not want what they have, but like I'm very. I can't think of the word now that I want, but. You look at them and they're so relaxed, you know. I want to be in a space of, I know we talk about soft life, princess treatment or whatever. I want that. I once dated a guy, Kosachent, of course, and I think he's the only guy I ever dated that gave me princess treatment. I remember one time my sister had to move razors, and he heard me speaking on the phone with my sister, stressing about it, and he kept quiet. He didn't say anything at that time. Then the following day, he asked for my sister's number. Then I sent him my sister's number. Then 2 days later, well, I'm still stressing, whatever. My sister is just like, oh, thank you so much. Mang called me and I've moved to my new raise. And I'm just like, what do you mean you moved? He organized the van for her. He organized people to help her move. He organized everything and didn't even tell me, like, and that's just one of the things that he did for me. Like, there's so many things that he did for me where I never had to lift a finger. So for me, love right now, what I want right now in a relationship, in a partner, I want that treatment where, you know, like people joke on TikTok where like, oh, when my boyfriend is around, I don't use my brain. That's what I want. I'm always using my brain 24/7. I'm always worried about something, whether it's my children, whether it's what are we going to eat, what are we going to do, how are we going to get here, what are we going to do. I'm always worried about something, and I want to be in a space, part of space now, where I just don't worry about anything. I have someone to share a load with. Actually, not even share, like he just takes all of the load and I just exist. So love to me right now is being with someone who just allows me to exist. being with someone who doesn't expect. I've always been with people. I've been with men who are like, "Oh, you're too much. You're too much." And I was on a date I went on a date a couple of weeks ago with some guy, and we're talking, and while we're talking, we're saying something, and he was just like, "Oh, you're too much." I literally cut him off. I blocked him same time. I've been told so many times that I'm too much, and love for me right now is being with someone who loves the too much. Being with someone who just expect me to exist. And that's what this guy that I'm talking about now did for me. He just all I just breathe, Mandy. He just wanted me to exist. He never wanted me to stress or cry or do anything. And for me, as shallow as it might sound, I just want to be with someone who just says exist. Just calm down, just put it down, put it on the floor. I got you, mama. We're not just worry about you and them kids. I will worry about everything else. Are you still primarily focused on single parenting, or has your focus expanded to women in general now that your channel has grown this big? I haven't thought about that, but I mean, my life has always been women, and I think that my Mother's Day lunch made me realize that maybe I should expand to just women, because there was so many. I don't know if you guys know her. She's got a Nazi Babe. Nazi Babe, her channel, I link it below. She came to my lunch thing, and she's not a mother, and that's when for me I realized, oh shit, and she was not the only one. There were other women who were there, not mothers, and I was just like, oh shit, like I always thought that I spoke to mothers and single mothers, but clearly I speak to all women. So maybe women should expand to just, let's be about all women. Okay. Oh Joy, no question from my side. I just love you. Tendani, Charmaine. Hey Manda, first I just want to say you're a great mother to your children. Please do not doubt yourself, and I pray God blesses you with a partner who will give you and your children the love you deserve. Thank you, Tendani. Question, how's your current workspace treating you so far, and what will you do differently to either prevent or deal with possible evil managers, for lack of a better word? My work, this one is treating me great, and I think what helps is that we are remote. I think that even with my work before, we were remote. Trouble started when we went back to the office. When we went back to the office, because you can't. So even that manager, I don't know if my manager is toxic or not, and I won't know because we're remote. When you're in here face to face with someone, because if someone pisses me off right now, I can just switch off my phone for like an hour and move on with my life. But when we're here, you can't avoid. There's so many things you can't avoid. So that's, I guess, what's different about it. It's full-time remote. We don't have to see each other. We speak like twice a week. And what will I do differently this time? I don't know. I haven't done anything differently, but I think that the confidence of I think people treat you differently when they know that you don't need the job. People treat you differently when they know that you don't need the money. It's the same even with campaigns. Like there's this campaign that I had, and this chick was talking to me sideways. I shut it down real quick, and I was just like, baby, you don't talk to me like that. I don't need this, nah. Even though I do, I need the money. But after that, she never spoke to me in a disrespectful way. It's the same even with jobs. I make it very clear that, listen, yeah, I'm a single mom or whatever, but I don't need, like, you don't have to treat me. People have gotten so used to treating black people a certain way because, oh, you need this job. Oh, you're a single mother. Oh, you need this job. I do need the job and I do need the money, but one thing, God, you guys, I said this when I resigned before. My God has never forsaken me when it comes to providing. So I come with that attitude, but don't think you can talk to me in any way. Don't think you can treat me in any way, because I can quit tomorrow. And when people know that you don't need them, they treat you in the way that you deserve to be treated. So not to say, obviously, to anyone who's ever been treated badly, it's because of or whatever. I think for me, it does help that I'm very loud about the fact that I'm even though I am. Singata says, hey mommy, any chances of us seeing the guy who stole your heart? I love your content, so relatable. No baby, no. I said it earlier on. You might see who I'm dating on Facebook, on Instagram, but not on YouTube. YouTube is a space for my children. It's not that I don't believe Guti Indo I post, but I post my man, I would post. As I said, I posted my guy, the one I was in a relationship with for 6 years. I posted Milani's dad. Both of them, if you go on my Facebook, you will see pictures of them, very public. And also I haven't deleted their pictures, but on my YouTube, no. Andiswa says, has your relationship with Alwande changed after having Milani? I have one child and I don't know how to feel about having a second one. How do you manage to be present for both of them? I would say that the relationship with Alwande has changed since having Milani. Unfortunately, your relationship with the child will change because your child is so used to being you and her you're just the two of you, and then someone else comes. But I think that I remember when I was pregnant with Milani, I asked a lot of my friends who had 2 children that how do I make Alanda realize that nothing has changed even though a baby is coming. And then they're like, no, so you introduce them while they're still pregnant. You make them part of the pregnancy, you know, so they don't feel like this person was just thrown at them. So there were times where I'd go to my ultrasounds with Alwande and she'd hear the heartbeat with me and things like that. So our relationship definitely has changed. And also it's hard for me to know that if the relationship changed because I had Milani or if the relationship changed because Alwande became a teenager. I think maybe if I had a child when Alwande was 5, 6, it would be easy to gauge that, okay, our relationship has changed because, you know, there's a new person in the picture. But here, our relationship would have changed regardless whether I had a second child or not, because Alwande was moving from preteen to teenager. Dorcas says you really talk about your dad. Would you mind giving us a glimpse of your relationship with him since childhood till now? You know what? I remember when I was in varsity, my friend, we were talking about something. Then my friend Sharon was just like, and then I mentioned my dad. My friend Sharon was just like, Amanda, you have a dad? I have a dad, guys. You guys have seen him. You will see him. I don't know if you'll see him before or after this video drops. My parents are coming over for a week to just on holiday, so you'll see a lot of him. Obviously you guys always see him when I'm at home, but I do have a dad and our relationship is okay. I obviously didn't grow up with him. I didn't grow up with my parents. Like, I was raised by my grandmother. My mom was working. My dad also working. I only stayed with my parents, I think I was 11 or 12 when, you know, my mom moved out of home, got a better job, and then I stayed with my parents. But I come from a very traditional, strict background, guys. Like, if you come from those backgrounds that I come from, like, you know, one of those things, like your dad has his own spoon, his own chairs, all of those things. So you never really have a close relationship when adults separate themselves like that to kids, you know. So it's only now that my dad and I have a great relationship because we are both adults. I'm an adult, and whenever I need anything, I call him. Whenever I've got problems, I call him. But growing up, we didn't have a close relationship, and maybe that's why I don't talk about him much. But also, growing up, I didn't have a close relationship with my mom. And yeah, the only person I was close with growing up was my grandmother and my aunt. That's it. Baby says, do you see yourself having another baby or another boyfriend? I'm done with kids. Boyfriend, yeah, definitely. I don't mind having 10 of those. Kids, And I say this not because I'm like traumatized by my baby daddies or whatever, even though they do play a role in how I view pregnancy and children. But both my children have been very difficult children. Both my pregnancies have been difficult, and the children themselves are difficult. I'm not even gonna lie. Raising a teenager is difficult. Raising a toddler, it's difficult. And I know that obviously it's the same, almost the same for everyone, but I'm not going through this again. I'm not, guys. I'm not. I'm done having kids. Being a mom is the most thankless job you'll ever do. It's very unappreciated. I don't want to do it ever again. Like, I'm good. And I remember I knew that I didn't want to have more kids even when I had Milani. And I remember asking my gynae to please tie my tubes. And he said, you are too young. I was 30 when I had Milani. He said I was too young, and I was just like, okay. But I am going to tie my tubes. I don't want any more children, basically. I'm done. I'm okay. So I'm going to see, how's the new place hunt going? I appreciate the evolution and Skula now. How does it feel to finally feel like everything is falling into place? Oh, Samu. Okay, place hunting is on pause because I've decided, Uguti, I'm going to leave this house when we buy. And I feel like if I leave this house to go rent again, then I'm going to relax at wherever I'm renting, and I'm not going to save money to buy. So I've given myself a deadline. I told myself, and I think I told you guys, 2025 we're buying a house. So the whole of 2024, every cent that I make from campaigns, every cent that I make from YouTube and campaigns, all that money is going towards saving for the transfer fees and all of that for my new house. And how does it feel to finally feel like everything is falling into place? It is so crazy. I don't want to cry. It's unbelievable. Like, sometimes I wake up and I take my kids to school, and like I'm not hurting, like I'm not heartbroken, I'm not in pain. When Alwanda is having breakdowns about not having a father, I can handle it better because I'm not in pain anymore. It was so difficult. There was a time last year it was so difficult having to help Alwanda navigate her feelings of not having a father, her feelings of abandonment when I was going through the same thing, the feelings of also being abandoned by your father. And so because now I'm dealing with it better, I can help my children deal better. I parent differently, I parent better, I think. I'm more present. I've always tried to be present, but I realized that last year I was just physically present. I was a shell. I was just present physically. I wasn't emotionally present, and this year I'm present. And for me to know that this year I've been present emotionally, I was able to see that my Alwande was slipping. And last year probably Alwanda was going through the same thing, but I didn't see it because I was just a shell. I was going through my own. And financially things are finally falling into place. I don't struggle. Last year, I remember I did a Q&A last year, and someone said that, oh, I must tell the truth, like, do I have a sugar daddy, whatever. And then someone else responded and she said, but Mandy always says that, you know, her sister's rich and my mom helps out. Last year, literally every month, my mom and my sister would have to help me out financially. I don't think this year they have. I think the last time my sister and my mom helped me out financially was in March. Yeah, that was the last month. That was just before I got this job. And financially, to just know that if I'm asking for money, it's because I literally just want something cute. Like, and my sister knows, like, we're at a space now where I'm just like, no ma, please send me 500 rand. She knows that it's for stupid things. Even with my mom, when she gets paid on the 15th, she doesn't have to worry about me and the kids anymore, but she still sends us money because I think she's just the mom. And God speak to her, because I would never do that. I'm not sending people money who don't need it, including my own children. But basically, like, emotionally, mentally, financially, things are finally falling into place. And sometimes it's unbelievable, and sometimes I don't believe it, because sometimes I'm just like, it's almost like I'm waiting for something bad to happen, because is it possible for life to be this good? Is it possible for life to be this content all round? Like, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. And woo, I don't want to cry too much. And I don't have much time on my memory card. So, Samu, Antrigarisha girl. Udima, Dima Katso. Hey Mandy, hope all is well and that you take Uma first. I've noticed on your vlogs that you no longer speak or show Lucia. Did you ladies have some kind of falling out? I'm sorry, just curious. Hope my question doesn't rub you the wrong way. No, it doesn't. Yeah, unfortunately, Lou and I are not friends anymore. We didn't really have a falling out, but it's something I just would not want to talk about here because it involves someone else. But there's still a lot of love and a lot of respect on both sides, I believe. Also, it's difficult with friendships, because especially when we both have kids, because I love her kids and I know she loves mine, but just because we didn't work out doesn't mean now it's going to be animosity or whatever. But unfortunately our friendship didn't work out, but I love her. There's a lot of love and care for her. There's some things like I watch and I'm like, oh my god, like Lisha would love it. Like, there's no, basically what I'm trying to say, there's no animosity. And yeah, unfortunately, shame. I know a lot of you guys asked this question, but we didn't have a falling out. It wasn't like nothing like that. Hey Mandy, I really admire your relationship with your kids. Rose, can you talk about how you developed a good relationship with Alwanda despite being mostly away during her childhood? I don't know if Alwanda and I would say we have an amazing relationship. I think that Alwanda and I have an understanding, and also I understand that she's going through adolescence. I was there once, and when you're going through that, you don't really like adults, so I understand that and I give her space. But before she went through all of this, what I did when I rose to make sure that Alana and I always we will be good even though we were apart, was that I always made sure that I was there for Alwanda's big events. I've never missed Alwanda's birthday from birth. From birth, I gave birth to her. I've never missed Alwanda's birthday. I've never missed first day of school. If she has a swimming gala at school, all the big moments in her life, I never missed. So I'd always, even though it would mean I have to take a bus, get on a SA road link or Intercape to make sure that I'm there for my babies, whatever it is that she's doing. I was always there. So I think we built that relationship where she knew that mom is always there, and obviously speaking every day, calling each other every day. But now that we live together, it's still the same. I don't miss the big important moments in her life. If there's something happening at school, I'm there. If there's something happened personally, I'm there. But also I'm there while allowing her to be a teenager and giving her space to be a teenager. I know that once she's in her 20s, me and her are going to be BFFs. But I also have to keep in mind that I have to allow her to be a teenager. I was once in her shoes, and I did not like adults, especially my mother. Florence says, I'm too curious about your father and why you were poor back then. Why was I poor? Seems both parents were present, so why were raised by your grandmother? The house in Durban looks like it could have accommodated you nicely. My mother bought this house, guys, in 2014. I was already out of the house. If this is the house that you're talking about. I grew up in Nanda. I'll link the clip where I speak about, where I show you where I actually grew up. I did a going back home. I'll link the clip below. I don't know how to answer why I was poor. I don't know how to answer that. Both my parents were present, but I was raised by my grandmother. My parents had to work, but they were present when they could. Advice to a young single mom who's trying to get on her feet, has no village to help her raise her kids, struggling to find a job and accepting that baby daddy turned out to be a deadbeat. Oh, Rochelle. My advice is that I know I've been here. Except the fact that, well, I've been where just accepting that your baby daddy is a deadbeat, and just trying to get on your feet. I've always been very lucky to have a village. And I think that has worked out for me in very, very well. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have a village. I don't even know how to address that. But when it comes to accepting a father, just like the person that you once loved, the person that you made plans with when it comes to this baby, and then Makchigel and turn out to be a deadbeat, that's probably the worst pain. It took me so long to accept my reality, you guys, because I kept thinking that this can't be him. This is not the person that I made this baby with, like, because I kept making it, like, in my head. I held on to the version of my baby daddy that I knew, and not the version that he showed me. I was that thing, but I know him, I didn't. And it's that realizing that you actually just didn't know this person, and let go of the idea you have in your head about him and see him for who he is, which is a deadbeat. It was so difficult to see my baby daddy as a deadbeat because that's not who you presented yourself to be to me. Once I started seeing him for the deadbeat and the asshole that he is, then it's easier to accept it with, oh shit, I actually have a deadbeat. Then you do things about it. Getting on your feet, you will get on your feet. Every day, all it takes is to try. When you still have the will to try, trust me, you'll be able to do whatever it is that you need to do. I can't say anything about trying to raise a child by yourself. That's probably the worst thing on earth. I've always had a village since the beginning, since Alwande. My mom, my cousins, my sister was my village. Then with Milani, my friends, my mom, my sister, everyone is a village for me. So I don't know what it's like to have to be on an island by yourself. And I hope that you put yourself out there. There are so many other women, moms, who want mommy friends, and I think it's just a matter of put yourself out there, whether it's going to crash, greeting the moms at crash, or finding these groups on Facebook, TikToks. The first mommy group I was ever part of, I found it on Twitter. So I would suggest, please look for mommy groups in your area. Talk to the mommies in your area. If you see a mommy and you make eye contact, talk to her. You do need a village. You cannot do this by yourself. Trust me, please. Please. Kamva, I love you. You're always here when I do quick Q&As. I have seen her. Oh, you are quite introspective and self-aware, and I've seen that has increased through watching your videos. How do you take a break from inner work and self-reflection? What do you do? Just relax and take your mind things off. My other question, I'll answer your other question privately. I'll DM you, Kamva. Well, her other question is just asking if we may. She'd like to meet me. Sometimes when you say how do I stop the self-reflective work, I just don't speak to my therapist. I ghost. She ghosts. In the beginning, I used to see my therapist once a week. Now I see her once every 2 weeks. And to relax, unwind, you guys know that I love me some wine. I watch mindless shows, like reality shows are so mindless. Like I just watch something that doesn't require me to think. And that's exactly what I do. But when it comes to taking a break from the self-inner work, I just don't talk to my therapist. It's just that simple. Lee Tata, I'd say, apart from the Mother's Day luncheon, would you be open to doing a luncheon for us to meet and have fun, to have fun? Nothing big, we can pay for our own food. I would definitely be open, but I think that someone commented in the podcast I did with Promise saying that they didn't realize how shy I was. Apparently, you can see through the camera that I looked very, very shy and tense in the first few minutes of the podcast. And that's who I am, guys. I'm very, very shy. I know that it does not come across that way because I'm loud, but I'm very, very shy. So I always, even in the Mother's Day luncheon that we had, if Lucia wasn't there, I don't know what I would have done. Because Lucia is, she's for the people. She's loud. She's she's, bouncy. She's got the energy. Now I'm shy. All I do is cry. I know that it doesn't kind of cross that way in the camera because I'm loud here, but on camera, I'm with people that I'm comfortable with. I'm sometimes by myself, so you don't see it. So for me, I shy away. I'm scared of like doing events where I have to meet you guys because my shyness is probably going to take over and then I'm going to seem like I'm not a nice person and I'm just being shy. But I'm definitely open to doing things, meeting my subscribers, meeting you guys. You guys have done so much for me. I would love to meet you and thank you to your face. So let me see what I can do. Let me see how I can get over this. Ukagiso Siroka, hi my love. My question is, if your first baby daddy came out of the woods, apologized and wants to have a relationship with Wawa, would you personally forgive him or let Alwande decide for herself considering the hurts she's been through for 15 years? There's no one I hate in this world more than that man. There's no one who has caused pain in my life more than that man. So personally, my answer would be no. And the only reason why my answer would be no, if he came to me to ask if he could parent Alwande, is because the difference between my first baby daddy and my last baby daddy is that my first baby daddy came out and fixed his fingers to type a message to my then 12-year-old to tell her he didn't want to be her father, when he could have just kept quiet. He could have just ghosted her. He sent a message to Alwanda saying that I don't want to be your dad. I'm parenting my boys, his precious boys. So how do I allow someone who did that, who said that to a 12-year-old at the time, to come back? Luckily for him, if he does come back, it's not up to me. Alwanda is of age, where she can decide if she wants him in his life or not. And all I can do is support whatever decision Alwanda makes. Because of how I have my own feelings, but it's Alwanda's decision at the end of the day. If she wants to try things out with him, she can. All I can just do is be there to catch her if he drops her. But personally, that man can go to hell. Personally. Okay. Malibongwe no Gwanda. If you had a choice of choosing how you wanted your childhood to be, how would you have wanted to be? I remember in one of your videos you mentioned that you didn't have a rosy childhood upbringing, but I love how you're embracing it and talking about it openly, and you're doing so great for yourself and your children. I love you, Sis Mandy. May the good Lord bless you and your family. Thank you, Nogwanda. Oh, if I always say that I grew up in a disadvantaged community, I wouldn't change that. I like because we were all poor. So I didn't know I was poor. Now we were all poor. So, and we all went to the same schools. So for me it was we all here. The only thing I would change, I would like to have had my mother more present, and also I would have liked to play more, because unfortunately my mother had to work, and her job, she lived at her job, so she'd come like once every second weekend or whatever. So I didn't really spend time with my mom growing up. I remember the other day I was sitting on the sofa with both my kids and I was looking at them thinking, it must be so nice having a mom, a present mom, that you can just sit with. Then I have to remind myself that unfortunately I've got the luxury of time and money, and time and money are luxuries because I get, the fact that I have money means I've got time, and the fact that I've got time means I've got time to spend with my kids. Unfortunately, growing up, my mom has to go work to go get this money, and then there was no time. So the only thing I would actually change about my childhood is just having my mom more present and also playing more, and not, because my childhood was taken away from me because I had to parent. I had to parent my little sister, and which means then I can't go play with other kids. I can't do things that the other kids are doing. But outside that, poor and all, I like my childhood. Sophie, N17, you have so many questions. On the question of friendship, I realized you stopped being friends with another lady who I love so much on these YouTube streets. Don't you think you should have approached things differently, sit down and talk about it? One thing I will say, I don't wake up and stop being friends or being in a relationship with someone By the time the relationship ends, trust me, conversations were had, sit downs were had. Like I'm such a person who try, let's try. If the other person obviously is willing, let's try. Then we get to a point where, okay, we've tried enough, I see it. So no, there's nothing I would have done differently. As mentioned, no one just wakes up and decides, we're done. Conversations were had. Question number 2. What are the things that you have said or done to the baby daddies that you regret? Not saying that you were not saying they were not wrong, but what are the things that you said or done to them that you wish you can take back? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And if anything, I haven't done enough, especially my first baby daddy, guys. Like, if you don't know my story with my first baby daddy, that man told me he didn't want to be a father when I was 2 weeks pregnant, and I never spoke to him ever up until I was pregnant with Milani. When I was pregnant with Milan in 2019, I was like, fuck, then I need to now go back to this one and talk to him, because I'm not going to have a child who's got one present father and then the other one isn't. At that time, I thought Milani's dad was going to be present. So from 2008 to 2019, I never spoke to that man. So do you think, Uguti, anything that I've said to him between now, but when we started talking until now, I never, if anything, ngiyamkhalela. I want to write ngiyamkhalela. My first, maybe my second baby daddy has felt my wrath. That one, he has felt my wrath, and obviously understandably so, because he made empty promises. He was just like, I'm gonna be a dad, we gonna be okay, only for you to turn around and do the same thing that this person did. But my first baby daddy has never heard. Angazing him took it, guys. Angazing him took. I've never said or done anything to hurt him the way he has hurt my little girl. The only thing I've ever done is to come here and just like bash them online. So no, I don't regret anything. I don't take back anything. The little that I've said to them is very little. If anything, after this video, I'm joking. I'm joking. Number 3, do you think that a person can be too dependent on therapy in an unhealthy way, to an extent where we even forget to hold ourselves accountable for as long as it's not coming from a therapist? I listen to you a lot and other people also, and everything is my therapist this, my therapist that. Please understand, it's not saying this in a bad way. I've seen the good results of therapy has done good for you, but I believe God has given us the power to be able to introspect, come with solution. Do you see yourself having to navigate life without a therapist? Have you tried looking at other alternatives? So if I started therapy this year, how do you think I was navigating life before therapy? God has given us the tools and solutions, and one of those is therapy. And I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with anyone saying my therapist this, my therapist that. And how do we hold ourselves accountable? One thing about humans, guys, we do not like to hold ourselves accountable. So if it means that therapist is gonna hold you accountable, let's do that. Because if we say here, we're gonna sit and hold ourselves accountable, we don't. Bring me one person who holds himself accountable all the time. We don't do that. We don't. So I started therapy this year, and before that, I was using other tools. I was using other alternatives, which was obviously not healthy for me. Therapy has been healthy for me. So, Shengi, where's that? Personally, I love your parenting skills. Guys, I'm so worried. I've got 38 minutes. I've loved your parenting skills and how you're able to handle 2 kids single-handedly. My question is, how are you able to be a mom and also be able to go out and have fun and friends, just let loose? Who stays at home and take care of the kids? We spoke about this earlier. I've got a village, guys. Who stays at home and take care of the kids? I don't go out as much as you guys see. As much as you guys think. Obviously, because I record every time I go out, to you it seems like it's a lot. I go out maybe once a month or once every 2 months, and who takes care of the kids when I'm out? It's Norma. So that's how I'm able to juggle all of that. So I don't go out every weekend. I so wish I could, but I do go out every weekend when the kids are not here. So I know that because I record and I put it on YouTube, it comes across as if I go out every month or ever so often. I actually don't. But when I do, my sister is always here to take care of them kids. Sihlo sokuhle Zwane. My question is, how far are you in the process of accepting kind gestures from people, strangers? Is it getting easier? If somehow it's easier, how have you eased into accepting gestures? I haven't. Mazwane, I haven't. I still struggle to accept kind gestures from people. And not even strangers. Just even the people in my life, I struggle to accept kind gestures from them. Yeah. I don't know. Refile Shrai, please tell us how YouTube has changed your life with being monetized and working with brands. Refilwe, how's YouTube changed in since being monetized and working with brands? I'm gonna have to say working with brands hasn't really, guys. Like, I don't get money from working with brands. I know that a lot of influencers get gang money from working with brands. I don't even get 10% of what they get. So that for me is just, I take that for exposure, and I also take that for free clothes, free food, free whatever. But the money's not that great. But YouTube, I remember last year, January last year, we had just moved in with the kids, and I posted on my WhatsApp status talking about, I don't know how I'm going to cope financially, because when I moved in here, I didn't afford this place. I don't even know how I qualified for this house because I didn't afford it. But I was just like, God will see me. I moved in here, I didn't afford Alwanda's school fees. Luckily, when I moved in here, I had quit a job and my pension provident fund was paid out. So I took all of it and I paid Alwanda's school fees for the year last year. But I couldn't afford my life when I moved in here. But I was just like, God will see me through. But on the same breath, I'd sit and be like, shit, Amanda, what the fuck? What did you do? How are you going to cope? I remember I did a video. I posted a WhatsApp status saying, like, I'm actually very nervous about living with these kids and affordability. One of my friends, Usne Tlantla, responded and she said, hey, wait, Kaume, calm down. YouTube is going to pay you. And that was in January. And at that time, I probably had like 700 subscribers. She was like, YouTube is going to pay you and you're going to be okay. Boy, was she right. Within a month, I dragged Alwande's father on Twitter. And the people who are on my side, all of them subscribed to my channel. Within a month, I had 2,000 subscribers. All of the people who were on my side when I was dragging Alwande's father came and watched all my videos, and I was monetized. Everything just happened like this. And I remember my first paycheck was June last year. It was 3,900 Rand from YouTube. But I was just like, oh my God. And I thought that was the most I'm going to make. I was like, oh my God. Who's going to give you 4,000 Rand just in jail? That's 4,000 on top of my salary. That 4,000, in my head, I was just like, oh shit, this is how much I'm going to be making on YouTube for the rest, for the longest time. And this is a 4,000 that's going to go to Milani's school fees. And I was just like, okay, I'm happy. Then the next month, I think I made like 8K. Then 12K. Then, so on a good month on YouTube, I make about, on a bad month, I make about 10, 12, and then a good month, 15. So that's a lot of money. A lot of money on top of my salary. Also, Kumbole, when I moved in here, I did not know. I didn't afford this place. So then when YouTube had started paying me well, then I was able to pay my debt. I had a lot of credit card debt. I had a lot of like little, these little loans. I started paying off. That's what I worked on last year. Just pay those off. Then at the end of the year, I got my first paying campaign, which was Pick and Pay. They paid me 2,000 Rand. I mean, granted, they did send me a voucher for 2.5. So, but like with campaigns, I guess the campaigns, nah. YouTube though. YouTube, yes, this girl. It's not a lot of money compared to how I was watching Snekuku the other day saying how much she makes on YouTube. I was just like, so it's not a lot of money compared to what other creators make, but it helps me out. YouTube money, like this year, what have I been doing with YouTube money? Oh, YouTube money this year is the one that helped me pay off my car. So every year, I think I've decided to give myself a goal. Last year, YouTube money was to pay off my debts. This year's YouTube money paid off my car. Next year's YouTube money is going to save towards my expenses for the house that I want to buy. So literally, YouTube has changed my life financially. I'm comfortable. As mentioned earlier, when I call my sister for money, she knows I'm joking. When I call anybody for money, when I say guys in penny money, I'm broke, they know that I'm joking. I mean, if anyone wants to give me money, they give me money, but they know that's not coming from Anglambang. Like thanks to YouTube. So if you are also on a YouTube journey, you want to start this journey, guys, start it. When I started YouTube, I didn't even know you could get paid. And not this much. I didn't even expect to get paid this much anyway. So if you're in this journey, start it. If you have a channel, please feel free anytime to link your channel on my comment section. I don't care. Other people will see your link, will follow you, will subscribe to your channel. Please, guys, feel free to plug yourself, shamelessly plug yourself on my platform. Lilita Skabeni says, with regards to life in general, what advice would be to a 20-year-old girl? Lilita, my advice to a 20-year-old girl will be, find yourself before a man finds you. A man found me when I was 21, and it has taken so many years of unlearning all of that. At age 20, you're not a grown adult. Your frontal lobe hasn't developed. Apparently develops at what, 25? So you are easily persuaded, you are easily manipulated, you're easily taken advantage of, and I saw that happen in my life. And I literally now I once saw this advice on someone, and I was just like, I'm going to tell everyone I know, find yourself before a man finds you. You have no business being in a relationship, you have no business having a child. If you already do, you still can work things out, but you have no business being in a committed relationship. Travel, get to know yourself, love yourself. Because I promise you, as a 20-year-old, if I would say to you, name me 100 things that you want to do, you probably can only name me 10. It's because you don't know yourself well enough to know 100 things that you want to do. So spend the time, spend your 20s getting to know yourself. Traveling if you have the money, if you have the means. In and out of friendship, find friendships, in and out of relationships, have fun. Do not let people shame you for having fun. If you do not have any responsibilities, keep it that way and take care of yourself. But my strong one is find yourself before a man finds you. Once a man finds you, and anyone below the age of 25, once a man finds you. Wendy, advice and words of encouragement to an early to mid-20s single mom. How do you handle a toddler? Because wow, my son can be too much. Guys, Milan is a lot. Because my life is not Big Brother. If this YouTube channel was Big Brother, you wouldn't know how I struggle. Milan is a lot. But it's patience. How I handle a toddler is patience. And advice of words of encouragement to a young mom: take care of yourself first. For you to be a good mom, you have to be good. And I think that society always just, once you're a mom, they make you just feel as if your children are your end all be all. Your children are not your end all be all. Your children are a part of your life. You need to take care of yourself. You need to be a priority. Do not let society tell you that your children should be a priority. You should be your own priority. Once you are a priority and once you take care of yourself, do the things that you love, do all of that, then you become a better parent because you are fulfilled. But you can't pour from an empty cup. So when you are fulfilled, date the people that you want to date. Because another thing, guys, single moms, we are told we shouldn't be dating. Omunye on Promises podcast to time must remain single for a very long time. Y'all hate single mothers. I've been single for 3 years. This chick comes into the Promises channel. She says, I just need to stay longer. What single feel? Because your mothers did it. Where are they now? The thing, guys, about this is unrelated but related. The thing about staying single for a very, very long time, once your child gets out of the house, know what you do. Because when you're staying single for a very long time, because I want to be a good mom and raise my kids, you can still be a good mom while you're getting some tea. You can still be a good mom while you're being loved down. Actually, you might even be a better mom because you are being loved. Because now you're pouring. Who's pouring onto you? So one thing that I don't like, the advice that I don't like that we get a lot of single mothers is being told to just not date and focus on those kids. Even my mom the other time was just like, no, don't date, focus on these kids. I was just like, focus on yourself and then the rest flows. When you are happy, trust me, everything around you flows. And your children, everything just flows. Focus on yourself, mama. As a young mother, focus on yourself. Do not let yourself go for the sake of these kids. These kids are going to leave your house, then what? Busi Lutando says, just here to appreciate you and how strong you are. You deserve all the good things happening in your life right now. Thank you, Busi. My question is, if you happen to find someone who genuinely loves you and your kids, whether the person has a kid or not and wants to marry you, would you be open to it? Why not? I don't have a solid reason as to why I don't want to get married. It's just that for me, I do not see how marriage can benefit me. So if someone can sit me down, the person who wants to marry me must sit me down and make me understand how marriage is going to benefit me. The only way marriage is going to benefit me is through finances. Otherwise, I don't see how marriage can benefit me. So if this man who loves me and loves my kids and deserves me and thinks and gives me the world, if he can convince me why I should marry him, why not? Gloria Mikara, how have you been able to achieve the work-life balance? Gloria, I'm very, very lucky to work from home. The nice thing about working from home is that when I'm not busy, I get to cook. When I'm not busy, I get to do laundry. When I'm not busy, I get to go out for lunch with whoever I get out for lunch with. When you work in the office full time, even when you don't have anything to do, you're stuck in the office. You can't do anything. So for me, the only way I've been able to balance my work life and mom and myself is because I work from home. Very, very grateful at that. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have been managed if I was in the office full time. Being Her says that you mentioned that you now choose peace. What's changed now? You always chose violence. Being Her. Yeah, you're right. I've always chosen violence, but I'm tired, ne? I'm tired. I went to court earlier this year. I got tired of fighting my baby daddies. I got tired of always being angry. But with that being said, I remember telling my therapist that, you know what, I'm tired, you know what, I'll go back to court if I need to, I'll fight if I need to. And then my therapist says, all I heard was, you are not done. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not done. Violence, Yona, will always be chosen when needed. It's just that I had to choose peace because I found myself being very consumed by the anger and the hurt. I found myself, I was the epitome of uboreka kanjani uno baby daddy mfonela umthuke like I would never get bored. I was never bored in life. I'd be like, oh, I'm bored, I don't have anything to do, let me fight my baby daddies, you know. Basically, I got tired of fighting, but it doesn't mean that I'm done. I will always choose violence when need to be. When it comes to protecting these kids, I will choose violence because violence has been the only way I've managed to be heard, and violence has been the only way I've managed to take care of and protect my children. So, peace is for now. We're not being her. Booyah. Being Her also says, you mentioned in an interview with Promise that if you had your kids when you were older, there are many things that you would have handled differently. What are those things? The anger and the hurt. I would have handled the anger and the hurt differently. When you're a bit older, you can regulate your emotions, and at a young age, you can't. You act out on your emotions. I was angry at people that I had no business being angry at. My baby daddies, yes, but also there were other people who caught straight bullets, who were in the crossfire, and unfortunately, I just don't like how other people had to bear the brunt of my baby daddies. So it's the anger actually that I was talking about in that podcast, that now in my grown age, when I go through things, I do handle them differently than I did 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago. So it's that, and there are other things also as well, but I don't want to get into it now. Chubeka Kulu Ati, I noticed you're good at this. How do you balance acknowledging your own wrongs in the friendships? I struggle to cut off friends, and I always feel sorry for the person, sometimes worry that I'm not perfect either. I think I said earlier on, guys, now I believe in conversations, and it's easier to cut each other off once we both agree that we've tried our best. And now, even in relationships and friendships, everywhere I can acknowledge, this was my part, I was wrong, because I know when I'm wrong, guys. I know when I'm wrong. I think a lot of us know when we're wrong. We just don't want to admit our pride and we let our pride and our ego take part. I always know when I'm wrong. So by the time me and said person have to have a conversation, I already know what I need to do, what I need to say. But sometimes, guys, as mentioned, our pride and our egos will make us lose people that we're not supposed to lose. So yeah, I think you know when you're wrong, baby. You know when you're wrong. Just admitting it is where the problem comes. Ubalisa M, how would you describe the season in your life? It's getting everything that I deserve. No, this is really the best place I've ever been in my life, and I can only hope it gets better from here. Woo! Usiamthanda Njobe Ati, what has this year taught you about yourself especially? This year has taught me that I can stand up for myself. And it's okay to stand up for myself. I might lose people for standing up for myself, but it's okay. This year has taught me that I'm a delicate guys. Like, I think for the longest time, because I've had to fight so much. I always have to fight. I myself forget that I'm actually a soft person, and I was reminded this year that I'm actually a softie who deserves all the good things and all the love. This year has taught me that it's okay to not always be on fight mode. It's okay to just be like, you know what, it's okay. Do whatever you need to do. Yo, guys, I'm a fighter. I will fight. I'm always ready to fight. I'm always ready. Drop location. I'm coming. But this year has taught me to, it's okay. It's okay to let things go sometimes. It's okay to put your guns down sometimes. It's okay to just take care of yourself and the people that love you. Love the people that love you, and not always hold on to the ones who you can clearly see Uguti are not your people. What is your new job like? Are you liking it? My new job, guys, is so boring. It's actually so boring, and that's exactly what I love. I'm so sick of excitement in my life. It's so boring, but I love exactly that. I get to do what I love, and I write to it too. I'm a writer, but it's like, okay. But I love it. How has Mandy this year compared to Mandy from last year? Mandy last year was sad. Mandy, I think I spoke about it earlier. I was a shell. Yo, guys, last year I was a shell. I was present physically, but I was empty inside. I was empty. I was sad. I was not okay. This year I found myself more fulfilled. This year I find myself, I enjoy my company. Last year, being the separation anxiety, last year I didn't want people to leave my house. This year I can't wait for people to leave, because I'm okay with myself. I'm okay. Obviously there are times where I'm just like, oh, I'm not okay, but like, right, guys, I'm fulfilled. I don't know how to explain it. Like, my heart is full. Like, right. I don't have everything that I want, but I'm content and I'm happy with with what I have, and I'm grateful. I'm able to sit in my home. I've got my kids, I've got my friends, I've got my family. Like, I'm right, guys. Right. I don't know how to explain it. Part 2M, how are you balancing a full-time job, content creation, relationships, motherhood, and friendships? I think that I mentioned this earlier, is that the fact that I work from home, guys, it's so helpful. I'm shooting this on a work day. It's Friday today. I'm shooting this. My laptop is right here. If I was in the office, I wouldn't be able to. So this is how I balance it all. So this obviously is content creation. Then later on, I'm going to go fetch my kids. Then tomorrow, I'm seeing my friends, and I'm able to do all of this. I know a lot of people have a weekend. They're 2 days. My weekend, Friday is a weekend for me. It starts on Friday because the workload is not that much. But if I was in the office, the workload would be crazy. So it's just that thing. I'm very, very grateful that I have a remote job. So it is what helps me create, balance the content creation, friendships, relationships, and work, most importantly. What is DPWD? What has been your favorite part of this year? Paying off my car. I know it sounds shallow and superficial, but guys, taking off that, my biggest expense is my house, followed by Alwanda's school fees, then the car. Those are the 3 most expensive things that I pay for. So being able to tick one off, oof, guys, oof, and traveling with my friend Unogwe, that has been really, really, really good. We've got 13 minutes, okay. Umila Gobeni asked, do your fears always ever consume you to a state of panic? If yes, how do you deal with that? I'd like to answer this question because my fear of hosting the next Mother's Day event is crippling me to a point where I don't want to host it. It's crippling me to a point where I'm scared I won't be able to do it. As mentioned, I'm very shy. I'm a people's person, but I don't know how to, be that person. And because I don't have Lucia in my life anymore, I'm sitting and I'm just like, am I going to be able to do this by myself? Everyone tells me that I'm going to be able to, but my fear of thinking that I can't do it is crippling me to a point where I'm thinking of not doing it. Of course, I'm going to push myself to try to do it. What I'm doing now in Amila to get over that fear is watching other people in the same. I was watching this chick, she hosted, what is it called, International Parenting Summit. I saw it happened yesterday. I didn't even know about it. I would have loved to go and speak to her and pick her brain. So now I'm like surrounding myself with people who are in these spaces. I'm speaking to Tato. Her name is Tato Boitumelo. She does these sip and paints and she hosts these events, and I look at her and I get so much like her energy. I literally feed off her energy, and as a result she's even like offered, when I asked her if she can partner with me so we can have like a nice sip and paint for our Mother's Day thing, and she is on it, So it's just surrounding myself with people who have the same vision or something similar or do the something similar as me. But guys, my fear cripples me. My imposter syndrome cripples me, but I will not let it. We will see each other next year, Mother's Day. Umila, still in terms of your career, do you still have things that you want to achieve and corporate ladder to climb? No, Mila, I've never been a person who wants to climb that corporate ladder. I've never been someone who wants to sit at the table. I just want to earn my salary and leave. I could be an intern today, but getting the same salary. I could be a cleaner getting the same salary. Like, titles don't matter to me, and I don't care. I don't want to be anybody's manager. I don't want to be a CEO. I just want money, and I just want to come home. So I'm not an ambitious person when it comes to my career. Luba Tembe, how do you feel about your daughter being bisexual? It's not for me to feel. Guys, I don't care I don't care what my children do in their lives. As long as they don't hurt anyone, and as long as they are happy. That's my motto. So I don't care who Alwande loves. I don't care, as long as she's safe and she does not hurt anyone and she's happy. That's all that matters to me. Her sexuality doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't change my life, doesn't change anybody else's life except her own. So I don't feel anything about my child being bisexual, lesbian, or well, let's just say I don't feel anything about my child being part of the LGBTQIA+ community. Your fave label, how is it like being a single mother? Oh, label. Kunzima. Carrying all this load by yourself, it's hard, especially when your children are going through the most. You literally wish you could like give it to someone or ask someone. I was admitted in hospital about 2 weeks ago, and I was not coping. It was one of the worst nights. She was there for 2 days. It was one of the worst days of my life, and only because I couldn't call the other parent to say, it's your turn to come sleep at the hospital, or it's your turn to go drop off the clothes, it's your turn to go see the child. And it's just single parenting. Usiya Dube, if given a chance, do you want to be a Zimbabwean Makoti? You got a Zimbabwean brother for me? Guys, I know I say I love Xhosa men, they are my hero, but listen, as long as a man is black, I'll take him. I love black men, even though they hate us. I love black men. So give me a Zimbabwean brother, Siya Dube, if you have one. I'm here. Miss Shinima, are you still planning on buying a house, Mama? Yes, baby. 2025. From my mouth to God's ears. Ulwazi, siphi isithanda sakho lesi sakho obusiphekela. Angizengiphekela umfana mina, guys. Ngamenzela ipicnic hle. Ngamenzela i-cheese board. Angibaphekela abafana. Ntomfuthi, how has being in your 30s changed your perception of men in relationships? Yes! I've got 7 minutes. I would like to talk about this so long. Yes, it has. I've dissented men. In my 30s, I've dissented men. My life does not revolve around men anymore. Before, I was such a my man girl. Before, I used to do things to want to impress the man that I have in my life. Now, I've dissented men. I've also seen men for who they are, and I see men for the things that they want. And guys, when I want to decenter men in your life becomes way better. Decenter men do not do things for the attention of men, for the liking of men, for the desirability of men. That's in my 30s. Literally, I can go into a bar or a club or a restaurant or whatever, and a man can come sit up to me and want to try to impress me. I'm not impressed. Can still pay for my bill, but I'm not impressed. In my 20s, I was impressed by the bare minimum. Now, and it's because I've decentered men and centered myself. Okay, I'm divorced at my dad's house with 3 kids. Where do you start? I don't have the courage. You see, this one deserves its own segment. I went back home with my 2 children because I was heartbroken. I stayed at home with my parents for an entire year. It was one of the most difficult years of my life. Yes, I got to save a lot of money because my mom didn't expect anything, but being home and like starting over, it's so difficult. But once you do it, you will be okay, Belinda. You will be okay. You will be okay. It's just, but also give yourself some grace and give yourself some time to grieve. A marriage pillar and a divorce, like that ending, it's a death. And one thing I know about men, most men, when they divorce the mother, they divorce the kids. So you also have to keep that in mind, that you might not be a single mother. You have to start over. You have to do things by yourself. You may not be used to it, but you will get used to it. And trust me, you are probably better off without this man. Not even probably, you are definitely better off without this man. Uma Tunonki, would you take Milani's dad back if he asked you? No, never. I don't have space for Milani's dad in my life anymore. Milani's dad can come back to co-parent if he wants to, but not as my man. That man fucked me over. That man did me dirty, and I will never love or respect him ever again. What's your opinion on letting your kids use your surname and not their father's surname? If their fathers did the right thing, they would use their father's surnames. Like, I'm not precious about my surname, and I know my grandmother and my mother are not. If they did the right thing, they could have. I know there was a point where Milani's dad wanted Milani to be his surname, but he's not doing the right thing. So if anything, it actually works better for me, because I don't have, if I'm traveling with my kids, I don't have to beg anyone to sign an affidavit to travel for me. So it's better that they use my surname. P was still, how can you tell if someone needs therapy? As I think I'm going through a lot. I didn't know I needed therapy until Norma's therapist told me I needed therapy. So don't be hard on yourself. If you feel like you need therapy, chances are you do. Diane Space, have you ever thought of moving back home? Never. Guys, I'd rather move back to a back room. I'd rather move to a back room than move back home. Never, ever, ever, ever moving back home. 3 minutes left. Maybe I can answer 2 more questions. No, never, ever moving back home. I love my mom, I love my dad, I love my parents, but never love moving back home. Raising a teen girl, Uli. Yeah, no, raising a teen girl has shown me flames. And apparently it's only the beginning. I must wait until she's 16, 17. That's only gonna get better at 17, 18. I don't know, mummies who have raised teenage girls, I don't know how you've done it. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm struggling. And I'm holding on to faith, and I'm holding on to the fact that I've heard that it gets better. I won't be able to answer all of these questions because I literally have 1 minute left. And most of the questions are more or less the same. So 3 things you'll tell to younger Mandy. You are enough. You are not too much. You are not too little. You deserve love. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be chosen despite who you are or who you think you are. You are amazing. You are doing the best that you can with the knowledge that you have. Do not be so hard on yourself. And this is just not advice that I'll tell to younger Mandy. This is just advice I'd like to tell all the younger girls who watch my channel. I like to tell all my younger babies, my younger sisters here, you deserve all. You deserve it all. Do not let society tell you who you are. I did that for a very long time. I let society tell me that I'm a single mom with 2 kids, no one's gonna love me. I let a single mom tell me I've got 2 baby daddies. I let society tell me that I ain't shit and I don't deserve to be loved. And I've internalized that to a point where sometimes it comes out in my current relationship. Even as a baby, I let like not having everything that I wanted stay in my head. My battery's gonna die. I'm not my battery, guys. My memory card is full, guys. I can't say much. I can't talk much. I want to close this video. I hope that I answered your questions to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this updated Q&A. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.